Hello, hi, welcome back to another Camp Nano stream. My name is lynndjung, and I have a very special and exciting guest on today. So if you want to introduce yourself, Brielle.
Sure. Hi, guys. I'm Brielle. My channel is Brielle Writes, and I'm going to be working on revision today for my first, hopefully, self-published book in the future. I'm on draft 2. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Thanks for having me, Lynn.
Yeah, of course. I'm so excited to have you on, actually. And yes, for what I'm working on, I'm switching gears. I've been drafting my necromancy book, but I am switching gears into revision mode. So Brielle and I will both be revising the session, but please feel free to share your word counts with every sprint. Let us know what you're working on. Super curious to know what you're working on and how far you've gotten, how your Camp Nano has been going so far. And yeah, so we'll take like maybe 5 minutes to just answer any questions. I guess that's what I usually do. And then I try to be efficient about sprints, but we'll see. Because we are going to try to keep this one at about an hour 30. And yeah, do you have a preference, Brielle, for like what time length you want sprints to be for this? I feel like 25 is a little long.
What have you done before? Like, what are
I
the
usually
options?
do like a Pomodoro because I feel like people just enjoy those and it's a good chunk of time. But like last time I did one with Chris and Kelly and we did like two 25-minute sprints in I think 2 hours. So I
Oh
don't know
my
if it's the
God.
most time effective option, not gonna lie.
That sounds good to me. Like a Pomodoro sounds fine. I'm
Okay,
pretty
great. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll just have to keep, or I'll moderate and try to keep on top of the timing.
okay.
It just gets so distracting because we have like lively conversation.
Yes.
Okay, some questions are coming in. So Adam says, top of the evening, how was your weekend? I guess this can go to both of us. My weekend has been good, just like kind of hectic, honestly.
Same here. I'm going away next weekend to visit Seattle, which is where I'm moving in a couple months. So I gotta like get everything taken care of before then. So I'm like scrambling to make videos and stuff, but it's been fun.
That's so exciting. How long are you visiting for?
Like 5 days, hopefully gonna tour a ton of apartments. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. I love Seattle. Have you been to like the Chihuly glass sort of museum thing?
I've literally never been there and I'm moving there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, if you have time, I thought that was really cool. If you're into like art, I mean, even if you're not, it's just really beautiful.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah, Seattle's a great city.
happy to hear that.
I'm just gonna go through a couple of these. Lots of people are saying hi. Alyssa's here. Hi, Alyssa. I watched so many of your videos while I was querying.
I love that.
I love Alyssa. I love the energy that she brings. How is June over? It's July. I'm sorry. But I understand the confusion. I'm working on my mystery/thriller/neo-noir project, Court of Rooks. I'm at 32k words and my nano goal is 38k. Nice. Let's try to get closer to that. Yeah. That's cool. Like mystery, thriller, neo-noir. I love that. And then I'm working on rewriting my young adult dystopia, The Blood Cleaners. I'm rewriting some scenes. Very nice. Young adult dystopia is like making a comeback.
Love
I hear.
Yeah, I'm so glad it's making a comeback.
I agree, and I think it's because like especially this generation, like the people that'll be reading YA of this age or who are of that age right now, they're very cognizant of like the issues surrounding our society. Definitely more so than I was at that age. So I think it's probably why that interest has increased.
I love the title of that, by the way, The Blood Cleaners. That's fun.
Yeah, that is fun. I also really liked Court of Rooks. You guys have some good titles.
Yeah.
Becca says, so excited for the stream. I'm working on my paranormal/thriller rewrites. I'm on my second draft. Okay, so lots of people are revising with us. I feel like that's a good sign. Oh, this person came back with, how is July over?
I'm dead.
Oh my gosh.
So funny.
Seattle, breathe in that sea air. Interest boards. Hassan, thank you for the super. Lynn, do you like flash fiction? I'm working on my Necromancer origin and the lo-fi soundtrack for the book. Nice. I do like flash fiction. I don't read much of it. Do you read a lot of short stories, Brielle, like through literary magazines?
No, I like should.
Mm.
But yeah, no, it's never. I guess there's no form that I've naturally consumed it in, if that makes sense, because I'm not an ebooks
Mhm.
girly. Like, I don't really know
Mhm.
how I would go about
Yeah.
starting to read it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
how do you feel?
I read a lot of short fiction because I first read for a literary magazine, so I read a
I
lot of
see.
short fiction.
That's
But yeah, I think for me, I just kind of like when I started submitting, this sounds bad, but it was very self-serving. I started reading short fiction to kind of like understand what, what was good and what was
Mhm.
into these magazines. But I really fell in love with it because there's such a diversity. Like you can find a short story about anything.
I love
But yeah.
that.
But I don't know if I specifically gravitate toward flash fiction. I don't like short stories that are really, really long. Like 10,000 word short stories are not it for me. I don't know why. Um, Someone says, "Oh wow, I almost moved to Seattle 4 months ago."
Oh,
Hmm.
almost.
I
Why
know.
almost?
Yeah, what happened there? Okay. Wow. Mick says, "Hello, two of my favorite author tubers." That's so
Hi, Vic.
sweet. I think Brielle is definitely one of my favorite author tubers.
Well, Lynn is one of my favorites, so
Oh
that's how that works out.
there we go. It's perfect. There's definitely like a collection of us that have cropped up in the past 4 or 5 years that I'm like, these are my people. I don't know why I feel that way, parasocial relationship maybe, but I'm like,
We love
this is my peer group.
I love that.
um, wow, I always am so blown away by how many people come on and interact and stuff. So it's nice to see. But I do want to get to the first sprint. I am so sorry. So let's pull that up. We'll do 25 if that's okay with everyone. I think it should work. And let me see if I do this right. Yes, I did it right in the first go. Okay, perfect. And yeah, so let us know what your starting word count is. I'm going to start in like 5 seconds here. And oh, the Seattle person picked Philly instead.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
actually so interesting. That's really interesting.
Different vibes.
I know, very different vibes. Yeah. I actually would love to know more about that. I'm obsessed with like the characterization of American cities. Like every city, all cities, not just American, have like such a personality to me. And I'm obsessed with like the distinguishing traits. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and start the first sprint. Again, drop word counts below, and Brielle and I will be revising for anyone else who's also revising. Let's go ahead and get started.
Good luck, everybody.
Have fun. Okay, that is the first 25-minute sprint down. How did that go for everyone? I'll go and scroll through some comments now. How did that go for you, Brielle?
So I'm actually writing a fresh scene that needs to be inserted. So I got 257 words. Feeling decent about it so far. So that's good.
Yeah. No,
How
that's
about you?
really good. I am on page 8, but that is okay.
Yes, love that.
Yeah, a little bit at a time. That's what I'm telling myself with this revision. Let's see. Looks like we had some people are pretty deep into their drafts for Camp Nano. Marco said, I have some questions about writer's voice and would like to hear your thoughts on the replay. Yeah, drop those questions. And Becca asks, what do you guys find to be the biggest challenge when it comes to revising your work? How do you find the balance? I fear I sometimes over-edit and kill some of my story's voice and charm. It's tough.
For me, I feel like the biggest challenge has been allowing myself to experiment without it feeling final or making me doubt my writing, if that makes sense. Like letting myself just try things and like getting comfortable with doing different options, different variations, and not being so precious about it. So that's been the biggest challenge for me, but something that I'm learning is just like try things out. If it doesn't work, the delete button is there for a reason.
So true, yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think my biggest challenge is like, yeah, it is striking that balance and knowing when it's enough. For me, it's developmental. Like I tend to chop scenes or like completely scrap and rewrite a lot. Like I do a lot of rearranging the furniture when I'm. Did that just do the thumbs up? That's so funny. I do a lot of rearranging the furniture when I revise, so I've learned to kind of pare back on that. Yeah, I think honestly, doing it in little chunks is better than doing huge rewrites, if that makes sense. So like in revision round 1, focus on this aspect and just do that little by little, and then round 2, focus on a different aspect. Obviously with like deadlines and stuff, that might not be super feasible, but I feel like that's a good, like almost like doing a conservative approach and then taking it in steps. Yeah. Question, for a query package, what does the number of pages really mean regarding the title page, epigraph, cutoffs for sentences / paragraphs, etc.? Is it really the number of pages in your manuscript? I just do the actual like story part. So this would include a prologue, but not, I have an epigraph at the very front of mods. I don't include that. I don't include the title page. Just do the number of pages for your actual writing, because that stuff isn't going to make your writing shine, but your writing will make your writing shine. Yeah. Oh, wow. Someone got 1,034 words in. Jeez. Whoa.
That's crazy.
Good job. Good for you. Yeah. Or wait, no, maybe that's the starting number? I don't know, actually.
Oh.
Please clarify. 983? What are you guys doing?
Oh, guys, what?
What are you what are y'all doing?
On?
You're so impressive. What the heck?
That's crazy.
Oh
I'm out here with my 200 words being like.
No, that's most people got like 300 to 200, which is I think that's very respectable for 25 minutes. Yeah, 983 is actually wild.
I love that for you.
I know. I wish that were me. I literally wish that were me. Oh, in a flow state. You know what? Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, I feel like when the banter is going, sometimes the words just like.
It's true. It's true. For me, it's describing nature. I'm just like,
oh, really?
500 words in 5. Yeah, I like have an ecology background, so I just am in love with nature. I love nature, so.
That's crazy. I feel like that's literally my biggest weakness. So.
Oh, really?
Might be
text get out there. Honestly, I feel like the Pacific Northwest will give you all of that like inspiration.
I hope so.
Yeah, I've been wanting to write something in like a really foresty environment. or just anything where the characters are like living in nature or connected with nature. But everything I write takes place in a city. Why does my brain keep doing this to me?
I get you.
I hate living in cities too. I mean, like, I don't hate it. There's cities I like, but city life, I always need to go out into nature again. I can't be in it for too long.
Yeah, I feel that. Thank God I live on like the outskirts of a city. Otherwise, I would be not well. Like there's
Yeah.
still parks, trees where I live.
Yes, I need the greenery. If it's just concrete jungle,
No.
no, not for me. No offense to people who can handle that. I just can't. I'm about to start reverse outlining my draft 0. I'm curious if you guys both have a reverse outlining process, and if you do, what is your process? I don't 100% know what reverse outlining is.
I was about to say the same thing. Is it just outlining after you've written some sort of draft? Is that what it is?
I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and see. Please tell us. I think you're right. That sounds familiar.
If that is what it is, I have done that, and I just did it via a beat sheet when I did it. And honestly, I feel like it's really helpful as well just to get, like, I also did little cards with 1 sentence per chapter of like what actually happens, and I outlined that way as well. So just like getting a sense of what's actually in what material is actually there. So then you can fill in the gaps. That's how I kind of approached it. But
yeah. I love that. I especially like the cards because once you have the 1 sentence chapters, you can like arrange it into acts or in whatever structure you like. So what's not the purpose, but like how did that help you? I'm so curious.
I feel like it helped me get just like a sense of the pacing and like, are things happening when in the book they need to happen? Are there scene types that are too similar near each other? Like, how does the flow feel in terms of like action versus more quiet scenes? Like just getting a good bird's eye view to identify where problems might be, or just like get a feel for the overarching structure. Because when you're so in the weeds, it's like so hard to see that big picture, and I still struggle with that. So that's what it helped me with.
Wow. I feel like I've done that before, or something kind of like that. Maybe I should do that for this, because I don't know. This is bad. I hate reading my book over and over again. It like just kills my ability to like see what is working and what isn't. And I just like, it's not productive for me.
I feel that.
So I don't know when I would do it, but I like that idea for people who can read their book over and over again. It's basically reconstructing an outline based off of your current draft to figure out what. Yeah, exactly. You were right on the nose.
Cool.
That's cool. I like that. I didn't know there was a term for that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'll be using that term.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Reverse outlining helps me so much with causality. Interesting. Wait, so for people who reverse outline, do you outline before you draft? That is my question. Or is this the only time in the process in which you outline?
It's a good question.
Also, I'll set up the next stream. Should we do a shorter one for this? Or next sprint, sorry. Should we do a shorter?
Sure. That works.
Yeah. I might go for like, I just want to be super cognizant of time, but I think we can swing like 20 minutes.
Totally.
Okay, perfect. I'll have that set up, but I just want to get this reverse outlining thing cleared. Like, I need answers. Alyssa says that she outlines before and after, and sometimes during. Oh my gosh,
that's
so much outlining. I actually kind of outline, like I just rearrange my outline during because I like to know where I'm going. So I guess I kind of relate. Yeah. Soft outline before drafting, hard outlining when I revise. I outline before and after drafts. Wow, you guys are so good.
Yeah, people are thorough.
I know. I can't even follow my original outline. I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna go by instinct, and then I have a.
At least you have an original outline.
Yeah. I don't think people need it. I don't think it's necessary. I think like understanding kind of where you're going, like the end point more or less is important, but like every beat in between, I don't know. I'm a plantser or whatever.
I think I am too. I think that's what I'm going to start identifying as.
Yeah. I think it's a good medium. And also if things work for other people, that is beautiful. And I could not be
Totally.
happier for you.
Very personal.
Yeah, exactly. The creative process is different for everyone. Reverse outline after I'm done with the draft 0. Okay, I've heard draft 0 before. Do you know this term?
My understanding is that it's like a somewhere between an outline and a draft, in the sense that maybe you're summarizing a lot more, you're putting in a lot of brackets, like it's not fully
Yeah.
written. That's my understanding. Have you ever done that before?
No, because I cannot. I can't, but I respect it. I feel like for me, that's almost, if I am doing a thorough outline, that's what my thorough outline would look like, is I'd put like bits of dialogue that come to me or snippets or whatever. But when I'm actually drafting and I have that document, I like copy edit as I go, line edit as I go. Like I really like to have a clean first draft, and I can't do it otherwise.
Yeah.
But it works. It's slow, but it works for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I understand that too, because I know I should be focusing on developmental edits in draft 2, but I can't help myself. Like I'm tweaking sentences, I'm getting in there just because I'm like, I want it to be enjoyable to read at this point. Like I want to be able to appreciate it as I'm going. So I feel that.
I agree. Is prose? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
I was just gonna say, I could see the value of 0 drafting, but I think I would just struggle a little bit with, to me, it would feel like harder to get through the draft after I've already done all the fun pieces of like, like putting together the full plot. Then I think I would be like dragging my feet on filling in the blanks, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is I mean, for me, I'm not sure if this is a universal issue for 0 drafters. I hope not, because that sounds like a cool process thing. But yeah, I would definitely be leaving like transition scenes out, and then having to do a round that's just all writing transition scenes.
No. Yeah, pain.
I could not. Yeah. So do you put like a lot of my AirPod? Do you put a lot of value on like, I mean, I don't know, how much do you pay attention to prose in general? Like, how important is that to you?
Yeah, it's something I'm trying to like gauge where I fall in terms of like just like the voice that I want to approach storytelling with, and like how much I want to focus on like beautiful language, because I feel like in my current draft it switches up a lot and it's kind of disorienting. Like sometimes it's written in a pretty like plain way, like straightforward, and then other times I'll just go off on a little tangent that's very like pretty. And I feel like I got to unify my approach a little bit and make it like a good middle ground that works with my writing style, I guess.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm still discovering where I fall in terms of my approach.
Yeah, because this is like your first book, the one that you're working on now. Yeah. That's so exciting. I feel like that's such a cool, like you're cognizant of what parts you want to explore, and you're not just like, I just want to write a book. You're like, I want to have a good time. I love that. Okay. I did see that Adam is out with a migraine. If you are hearing this, Adam, I hope you feel better. I'm so sorry that that's happening to you. And I think other than that, we should be ready to go. 20-minute sprint. Is it going to do the thumbs up again? No. Of course, it never does it when I actually want it to. It does like the heart pretty well. Yes. What was that one?
It was the double thumbs up.
Oh. Okay, we'll have to experiment. But yeah, 20 minutes on the clock. If everyone is good, let's go ahead and start in about 5 seconds.
Sounds
or
good.
now, honestly.
Grab a drink. So if I'm off camera, it's because I'm getting a matcha.
Oh, yes. Oh my God, I need a matcha so bad. I'm trying to cut caffeine though, but it's terrible.
Do that as well. Yeah, it's tough.
It's mostly coffee. Matcha doesn't do that much damage to me, but coffee will, like, even if I have it at 10 a.m., it'll keep me up all night. So
I hate that.
Just
matcha's more like, it's more of a gradual experience, matcha.
Yeah, it's a lot softer, it's kinder, but apparently there's some like medications that slow down your caffeine processing ability.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So, yeah, but anyway, all right, 20-minute sprint. Let's go ahead and start.
All right, let's do it.
How is that for everyone, and how is that for you?
It was good. I was jumping around, so I'm not quite sure how many words I got, but probably around 200 again, I would say.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's coming along. How about you?
I got to chapter 2, so I literally just finished chapter 1. So that's
Amazing.
good.
I
Mm-hmm.
love. Are you
Yeah.
focusing on like what sorts of things are you focusing on? Obviously, can't spill too many beans, but
Yeah, so it was like it's pretty much all world building. There's a little bit of stuff at the climax that I'm gonna tweak, and I think I'm just gonna like seed some of the revelations and stuff a little bit better, but it's nothing too major. Like I don't think I'm gonna have to do any rewrites, really, just adding
okay,
stuff. So I'm also kind of doing like an unofficial line edit as I go.
nice.
But yeah, mostly world building clarification.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 619 words in 20 minutes.
That's
I
amazing.
mean, good job. I sound mad because I'm a little jealous, but good job. 200, 218. Y'all are killing it. Oh my god.
That's
I love
great.
to see it. Yeah. And I always see like usually it's at least a couple of the same people, so they're doing this consistently, like coming to
That's
sprints
amazing.
and just getting words in. I wish that were me.
Yeah, I want to
It's
start
me
attending more sprints. I feel like it would be so valuable.
too. I just have no time.
Mm,
Like ever. I always hit notify me and then it pops up and I'm always in the middle of like class or in the middle of dinner or like just doing something.
I feel that. I'll literally hit notify me even if I'm like, yeah, there's a 99% chance I won't be able to go, but like
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. I think for writing too, especially sprints, I need to like be sat down and ready. And I need to have my water
Absolutely.
and my setup and I have to like be in a good headspace.
Same.
782. I'm sorry. I'm just
Wow.
good for you. Yeah.
That's incredible.
There are definitely those scenes though where you get to them and you've been like waiting to write them and you've been doing so much build up and setup and you're just like, let's go.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Wow, good job, everyone. Okay, so we're at an hour and 10. So with 20 minutes left, more or less, maybe we can just take this last section to answer writing questions or
Yeah.
troubleshoot, unless everyone wants to do like a really short sprint. But we do have to be cognizant of time. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm down to answer a few questions.
If anyone has writing or querying questions, or literally any questions, I don't know. Hit us with them.
That's exciting. I would
I
love to hear you answer some querying questions because I'm just so nosy.
Oh my gosh. I love talking about querying and like traditional publishing as a whole. But everything I know I learned from Alexa. So it's like all from watching Alexa's videos and also I guess being agented for 5 years, but
That helps.
but I do have a question for you, Brielle. I'm so curious if you've thought about like the next project you want to work on. I don't know if you've like talked about this already, but
So like not really because I only have like vague things I would want to explore. Like I have seeds. Um
Mhm.
but I think I'm probably realistically not going to get to them for a while since I want to write the
Mhm.
sequel to my current project first.
Yeah.
But I would love to do more of like a more adult paranormal romance vibe is what I'm thinking maybe for the next project.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
so we'll see. But yeah,
If
nothing
that's so
concrete,
fun.
honestly.
Mhm. Paranormal romance, as in like it takes place kind of in the 21st century, like
Yeah,
that.
more so like uh our world-esque vibes, but with like, I don't know, vampires or something is what
Yeah. No, I love that. I'm so excited. I realized that I love a modern setting because
too.
it's like I love fantasy and I'll always have fantasy elements, but there's something about a modern setting, like especially writing about a real place. Like I had so much fun with that with mods because it's set in Paris and like I lived in Paris straight out of high school. So I
Oh,
got
no,
to like relive that experience almost through the book.
that's so
And again,
cool.
I'm obsessed with places and how they're people, like how they have personalities.
I love that.
Yeah, I love a paranormal romance moment. But I'm so excited for your current book as well. Like,
Thank
I don't
you.
know, just doing
I'm
exciting things.
It is funny the things that like when you're writing in an alternate world, there's certain like phrases and stuff that's so normal to us that I've had to like rethink. Like,
Yes.
for example, like people saying Jesus Christ as like a, you know, as like a curse. I'm like, wait a second, but does Jesus exist? Like, would this
Exactly.
and stuff that you would quite literally never think about? Or even I was thinking about a baseball cap, and I was like, there's no baseball in this world.
Oh
Like,
my
what
gosh,
they that
yes.
term?
Yeah.
So it's crazy just the things that you have to think about. So it would be nice to kind of write in our world and be able to use some like cultural stuff, you know?
Yeah. Yes. I love that. I also love writing about like, I don't know, like traumatic events that kind of only happen in the 21st century. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yes.
stuff that if the way I want to explore it through the lens of like modern times and modern ideals. Oh, but the thing about the like what I think about a lot is names like Mary come from the Bible. Like there's so many names that come from the Bible that we just think of as like common and neutral, but when I write fantasy I'm like shit.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. Wow.
I don't think it's that important because enough people just disregard that there's so many Marys and Johns in fantasy.
True.
So it doesn't matter, but yeah, it does come to mind. Okay, some questions have come through. They're mostly about querying. Congrats, Lynn, about being reagented. Thank you so much to everyone who's saying congrats. It's really exciting. What made you choose your current agent out of the bunch? So this was so hard for me. It was like nothing but good options. But this was the agent I was referred to, so I kind of was already like leaning toward that person. And then when I spoke with her on the phone, it just like solidified everything. She has a great client list and like a great track record, and just also honestly like really good at her job. So not that the other agents weren't, they all are good at their job, but I think a little bit of that leaning toward her originally kind of influenced that decision. Alyssa asks, not sure if you can share, but how long do you get to complete edits from your agent after you sign? So my deadline is right now like late August.
That's so fast.
But I don't have that much to do, honestly. So it's like kind of good because I finished my semester for grad school in mid-August. So I'll have like 2 weeks of nothing but this. Yeah. But I can always, like, it's not serious, so I can extend it if I need to.
Can you elaborate on the referral thing? Like, is that a referral from your agent or like from...
No, it was my friend is actually also a client of my current agent. So she read a little bit of mods and was like, I think my agent would really like this. You can basically name drop me when you query. And that's she didn't like tell her agent like, oh, Lynn is gonna query you and you should sign her or anything like that. It was just like in my letter I mentioned, oh, my friend is your client and thought you would like my book.
Gotcha.
Yeah. How do you recommend someone structure a novel as a complete beginner? Would a creative writing course be necessary? No, a creative writing course is not necessary.
I agree. Structure a novel as a complete beginner. I would say, as a complete beginner, I would say do a quick little outline if you want to with some sort of structure template and then go for it. I'm always going to like encourage going for it because I feel like so many people never start because they get stuck in the outlining phase and the planning phase. So trust your instincts about story structure kind of subconsciously and innately from the media you've consumed. Do maybe a quick little brainstorm and an outline and then just like get in there and see what happens.
That was so good. You have to listen to Brielle because that was amazing advice. Yes. There's so much that like gets lost in the process of, oh, I have to write a novel and make it marketable and like get an agent with a novel that hits these points. No, like literally just have fun and use it as a means to express yourself. And like, I don't know, the rest of it is not worth stressing about. If you are genuine and it's like a good outlet, you can always fix the stuff that like you can always edit typos out or change the structure with future edits. But if you're just starting out, literally just have fun with it. Why not?
Great.
Yeah. How do you feel about mini vignette style POVs sprinkled throughout a larger novel? Yeah. It depends heavily on the context of the novel, but
I agree. I feel like anytime you're diverting from what people are mainly invested in, it has to be with a lot of purpose and a lot of payoff, would be
Mm-hmm.
my thoughts. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're just throwing it in there to spice things up, people might lose patience
Mm-hmm.
if it's not purposeful, just
Mm-hmm.
because you're mainly invested in the main story and the main POV. I don't know. What do you think about this? That's just my thoughts.
For some reason, when I read this, the thing that came to mind was like an epigraph. So I was picturing like a one-page vignette.
Mm,
So that I feel like is really unobtrusive, like one page anything,
yeah.
it's fine. But if it's like like smaller sections, like multiple pages that are like a scene with these characters that isn't at all involved with the main story, then be very, very sparing and be sure that it all like comes together at some point.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the readers will. I mean, not that you have to necessarily cater to readers all the time, but I would personally be like, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm interested in writing a fantasy set in a specific historical era. Any tips for someone who's written mostly only contemporary young adult?
Oh, Lynn, this is all you.
um, I don't know about like contemporary young adults specifically because I have never touched that genre, but historical era, like a real life historical era, get like sensory overload yourself with stuff that is about that. So do the nonfiction research, like research papers, nonfiction books, read fiction set in that era if there is any. If you can find like a TV show or movie, it doesn't matter how bad or inaccurate it is, but just like the way that they talk and dress and like eat and stuff, it'll soak into your brain a little bit. Yeah. I feel like being too So the other thing when you actually get to writing is to not hyperfixate on the setting,
Mm.
because I think people do that like research and absorption thing and then they write about the setting and not the story. So remember that your story comes first and the setting is more background noise, but
It's a
yeah.
great tip.
A lot of setting comes through, like especially historical eras, it comes through in like more subtle ways, like the way they talk, what they're eating, their values, their clothing. It doesn't have to be like, I don't know, like a whole paragraph about the sewage system a la Victor Hugo, it's not that serious. So yeah, but have fun with it, learn about your setting, have a good time.
The sewage system, I'm dying.
There was definitely a way of writing back in the day that was just like, let's just describe this thing as much as I can. And I can't stand that.
I'm dead. That's so funny.
Next question from Emily. I'm doing developmental edits right now, and I've realized that my pacing throughout the entire book has been incredibly fast. Any tips on how to slow down pacing to get more words in? I'm an underwriter.
I struggled with this a lot. I'm an underwriter as well, and a lot of my scenes feel choppy and incomplete. For me, it was just like trusting myself to be able to make it interesting without it having to move on right away. Like, allow yourself the breathing room to like play within scenes and like let conversations really play out, and like you might end up having really interesting moments that are coming out of a longer scene. So just have some trust to yourself and let yourself like, I think I also had to give myself the comfort that I could expand a scene and then choose to undo that or to go back to a shorter version. Like, just see what it would feel like if you let a full scene play out, or if you followed them on a like a day that you weren't previously following them. Like, just see how it goes, and then you can always taper. But for me, it was a permission thing. It was like a letting myself, trusting myself type of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. My add-on to this, and that was really good advice, so also listen to that, is to let yourself feel the slowing down and to write that way. But also in a more technical sense, I feel like most underwriters have one thing that they're not hitting regularly, like one element of the story. For me, it's usually internal monologue. Like I have to really consciously remember to include that. So for you, it could be like dialogue or description of setting or description of, emotion. Like there's probably one thing that should be in the soup that isn't quite making it in as much as it should. So if you can identify that and consciously add more, that has helped my word count a lot.
That's such a good point. And see how much you're summarizing too. You might be summarizing too frequently.
Yes, exactly. Rather than dramatizing or, the show versus tell thing. Next question. How to jump back into a certain character's voice after putting down the story for a few months because I've been rereading and struggling to capture the original voice. Ooh.
That's tough. Not the thumbs up.
Oh, while I was scratching? That's so disrespectful.
That's so
oh my
funny.
goodness.
This is hard.
This is, if you had like stuff that originally inspired the voice, like things that you didn't write, then I would go back to those materials, maybe. Like books that you're reading that you feel like are a good voice comp. What is that? Like the vocal exercises? I think Kelly has a short talking about that. Yeah. Other than that, you could even, okay, this might be a little bit too much, but you could try like just literally just writing scenes to see how they go. Or like, trying to find that again through writing a short story set in the world, a scene, something, and have it be like low stakes and just go and go and go and have it not be part of the book until you find that voice again.
I agree. I think that's underrated. Like test scenes, auxiliary scenes that won't be part of the story. Like, I agree.
Yeah. Experimental stuff. My gosh, there are a lot of questions. Okay, I'll do like 2 or 3 more and then we'll probably have to go. Can you see this chat?
They're so crazy. Yeah. I'm like looking at it right now. I'm like, oh my God.
Okay, perfect. Is there a question you'd like to pick out? I know, I love it though. It does get very, it does get a little overwhelming, but because it's like hard to keep up with it as I'm like also doing other stuff, but I really like how active people are here and I really appreciate it. But yeah, maybe you can pick out a question and I can pick out a question.
That sounds good. I'm taking a look.
Okay, perfect. I'll take the top half.
Ooh, I'm intrigued by what are your opinions on the quote of books and how would you go about writing one or finding it in your writing?
The quote of books.
Which I'm taking to mean as like the quotes people pull out of a book for like advertising.
Right.
Which I think is interesting.
That is interesting because that is such a big part of marketing now is like the quote that you put on the bookmark in the owl crate or the quote that you put in the Instagram. I have terrible quotability, but I don't know. What do you think?
Oh God. I think going about trying to write one in isolation, I think would be really hard for me and forced. Like if I sat down and was like, what's going to be the quote from this book? Like that sounds like really like a lot of pressure and like nothing good would come from that. So I think for me, this has to be a retroactive thing of like, I've written the book. There's got to be some gold in there somewhere. Like I'm going to sift through and just find like the moments that happened organically. That's my approach. Because even with quotes that I had before drafting, which like, some dialogue comes to you, whatever, some of it I'm realizing is not actually going to work in the final form. And I'm having to like kill those darlings types of things. So yeah, for me, I think it's going to have to be something I do retroactively. Because yeah, the quotes that I thought were going to be the quotes when I started, some of them don't even make sense with the book anymore. What are your thoughts?
I have never thought about it. I've never like consciously been like, oh, quotes, but like maybe I should, because it is such a big part of marketing now. I think I'm kind of like, just write it and then, go back and maybe like, if there is something that has promise, if it like, it would probably need to be tweaked to be a good short quote. You can just tweak it accordingly. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily like force them in because that does seem super stressful and not very productive. When really like, yes, maybe the quote will hook someone's attention, but it's a story that'll keep them there. So I just don't personally see it as a priority. But if you are able to juggle those things, that's like good for you,
Yeah.
Sorry, my bangs are going crazy.
I do think it's kind of obvious when someone wanted it for the quote and it like it's not flowing with the rest of the scene, or like it's very like even melodramatic compared to the rest of the scene, and it's just like did you just stick this in here so you could use it? Like, it's very transparent. So yeah, I don't think it's something that should or can be forced. So I agree on that.
Yes, 100% agree. I think but it's mostly like young adult fantasy, I feel like, that kind of is like this now, because young adult fantasy, I mean, no disrespect, like that's where I started out. So many of my friends write young adult fantasy, and there's a lot of really good young adult fantasy out there. But just the way that marketing for that category has been kind of turning weird, not weird, but just like really different lately. There is so much more of an emphasis on that like snappiness. So like we're writing adult, it's probably okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, great. I hope that answered the question.
Quick note.
Yeah.
Did you read Serpent and the Wings of Night, Lynn?
No.
Okay.
No.
If anyone has read that, I feel like that's such an interesting example, because the back of the book has like a quote, like an exchange dialogue between her and the love interest that very much makes it seem like classic romantic-y banter or whatever. But then I feel like the book is so much more like rich and like world building focused and like totally different vibe. So in that case, I feel like it's almost like not quite lining up. And I think it's because the focus on the marketability of it and like casting the widest audience, which I understand, but it's like not, it's disservicing the book, I guess. I feel like. So just an interesting example there, but yeah.
Oh, this is so interesting. It's so well rated on Goodreads. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's a great book. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, perfect. I'll have to read this.
Yeah, would recommend.
Wow. I've never, like, the cover looks vaguely familiar, but I didn't know anything about this book.
Interesting. No, I think it's really strong in the world building department.
Perfect. Yeah. I think I'm kind of like out of touch with book stuff lately, because I used to get most of my information from Twitter, but I like don't have Twitter anymore. And I don't really use Instagram, so like I'm very out of the loop.
I feel that.
Yeah. But okay, I've picked my question, which is, how do you cope with getting a lot of new ideas while working on other projects? The idea for a late Victorian murder mystery came to me in a dream last night. My thing, as someone who gets a lot of ideas all the time, and it's a nightmare, is to just literally just vent it out, like get it out of my system by like writing a snippet or just writing down ideas, character names, whatever. If I have to do like a day of research, I will. Like I just allow myself to have that hyperfixation moment and do it all in my notes app, and I just leave it there and I let it marinate, and then I go back to what I was working on. So I always have like an alpha project that I am actively working on and trying to get to a certain point. But if other ideas come to me, I don't just like brush them off or ignore them. Like I give them their time and space, but usually like only a day, if that makes sense.
I totally agree. I do the same thing. Notes dump it out, like write down every random thought you have about the idea and then just file it away until more ideas come up with it. Like you don't want to lose ideas ever. So I'm a big fan of dumping everything. And like Lynn said, just letting it marinate until you revisit it. Like it can still be churning in the background. There's nothing wrong with that. Like don't fight that part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Alyssa had some stuff to say. Oh, yes. New adult romantasy. That is so big now, and I have not read like basically any of it. The quotes are unhinged, like it's 6 a.m. Calm down. I definitely agree about Serpent and the Wings of Night. When I was at a writers' conference, people were talking about the misleading marketing that's happening in new adult. Interesting that we're acknowledging new adult as a category now.
I feel like it's not as much of a romance as it's being sort of marketed as, which is interesting. Like it's a strong fantasy and there's a romance there, but like the love interest kind of is a terrible person. So like it's not, it's not the full romantasy fantasy by any means. But that is interesting that people are talking about that.
I think I've been seeing a lot of weird marketing lately, like just like straight up incorrect. Like there are books that market using like popular ships from like, it's always Zutara for some reason. And like, I don't know. And then the reviews will be like, this is not like that. So you're setting up books to fail.
Yeah. Like your book might be great, but if people are going in with different expectations, like that's it's going to hurt you so much more than help you, I think.
Yes. And it's usually in the comps, I feel like, but it could also be elsewhere. God, the hair. Yeah, that's so interesting. I wonder why marketing is doing that. Okay, I do want to do this one, and then we'll probably sign off. But Alyssa said the Zutara baiting is crazy. It's true. It's like every book now is like, this is just like Zutara, and I'm like, but that wasn't even like a real, like that didn't even happen in their show. So I didn't understand. Okay, so this question I just wanted to answer really briefly. With smut being so heavy in fantasy now, how do you combat the lack of that in your book and marketing it? I don't think smut is that heavy in fantasy. Fantasy is so big that there's definitely a vocal corner of it that's like romantasy and has like more spiciness and that sort of thing, but that's not all of fantasy now. Personally, I'm fine with my book not being a bestseller. Like if it ever gets published, I'm fine with it being quieter and it doesn't have like a lot of spice in it. So
yeah, this like makes me personally a little riled up, so excuse this, but like I don't love the narrative of all fantasy is just smut, like no one appreciates good fantasy anymore. It really bothers me because I also feel like just because a book has some spice in it does not mean it's smut or that people are only reading it for the smut, because that's just simply untrue.
yeah.
A strong fantasy plot and spicy scenes can exist within the same novel. So I would just say that. And I would also say I know 0 readers who would not consider a book that doesn't have spice. Like every reader that I know is fine. Well, obviously some readers don't want it, which is totally fine. But a lot of the readers I know are fine with it, without it. Like if the book is good, the book is good type of thing. So yeah, I don't think it's as big of a like problem in fantasy as people are making it out to be. There's good books with it and good books without it. Like that's my thought.
I 100% agree. And again, it boils down to like these books are being marketed a certain way as well to like amplify that smut. So I feel like people who aren't reading them are making these like judgments and assumptions. And of course, there is that whole thing like the misogyny of if, for example, a romantasy, which is a genre that's heavily read by women, or like not to generalize, but it is like romance more like oriented toward women and marketed toward them, then people automatically assume it's a lesser art form, which is like, can we not? It's 2024.
I agree. Can we let women enjoy what women enjoy? Can we let women write what they want to write? Like, I totally agree.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And of course there is like romantasy that's like very bad, but there's regular fantasy that's very bad also. So it's like anything can have the range. I have read books with no sex where I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah, I don't think there's a correlation. Like, I think it's just, a book can be bad either way, a book can be good either way, regardless of spice level.
Exactly. I think there is something to be said about just like how aggressively that side of it of a book is marketed, where it overshadows maybe like good world building, good character arcs, and like other stronger parts of the writing. So like I understand kind of where that like thought comes from with people who are looking down on romantasy, but like it's just silly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, Alyssa said, as a reader of mafia romance, I can tell you the smut in fantasy is low compared to like
mafia romance. I love that, Alyssa.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, even like Bridgerton, like romance in general, like the broader category of like genre romance is a lot of smut. It's nothing new. Books have had sex in them for a while.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
But no shade to you too, who asked the question, like totally valid, and we understand where you're coming from. Just wanted to say.
Wait, what was the original question?
I don't know. We got so on a tangent.
I know. Wait, did I answer it? Oh yeah, how to market it. Yeah, I don't think it needs to matter. I think honestly a good pitch is a good pitch.
Yeah, I don't think it'll make or break your book at all, honestly.
Yeah. For me, like mine is not, I haven't been on YouTube. It's not marketing, but when I talk about it, I'm not like, this is a spicy dark academia. I'm like, this is a dark academia set in France, and people are like, say no more. So
there you go. The
So
thought of you
that
saying this is a spicy dark academia is actually so funny to me. Like if that was your new intro of like, hey guys, we're gonna spicy.
It does have scenes in it, but I'm like, they're not super detailed, so yeah. And honestly, most of them are meant to make you feel sad. So I don't know. With no more context, I'll leave it at that.
For sure. That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're all set. I don't want to. We did pretty good with the time, so I'm proud of us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
Of course, I would 100% be down to do this again on my channel or yours. I'm so down. Honestly, you're such a joy to be around and interact with, Brielle. You have good vibes.
Right. You love getting to talk with you.
Yeah, we should chat more for sure. I'm just so bad at like internet communication, generally speaking. It's hard. I'm also
swap numbers.
Honestly, yeah, we need to do that. Well, okay, but yes, thank you so much for everyone who came on and participated. I hope you got your questions answered and your words in, and I'll see you guys for the next batch of sprints. I'm not going to be doing every week in August just because I physically cannot, but I will upload that schedule in the community tab sometime soon. But yeah, thank you so much and have a good day.
Thanks for being here, guys.
All right, perfect. Ending the stream now. Bye.